Hi guys, I decided to make this video so that I can share it with you because I think that today I had a leveling up that has been in the process. It's been going on for several weeks, but I think I finally understand, like the culmination happened today. And this has been pretty profound. Things are shifting right now, and things are getting ready to take place that all of us have been preparing for a long time for. And there's been a lot of conversation around this feeling like something's coming, or these waves that are coming. So there's been lots of conversations going on with, I'd say that the word that everyone has been using to describe it is weird. I know that you guys understand what I'm saying because I know you've been using the words weird as well as part of the one of the dots that I've put together, um, with all that has been coming in from others that have been confirming this really strange place that I've found myself in. Um, it's like I've seen other people going through it, this strengthening of the inner being. I had a very significant walk in 2 years ago. It was a year ago this past March. And it was so significant. I just felt like someone grabbed my steering wheel and I just didn't get a say anymore. And it's okay. It's okay. It was surprising. And I know a few people that are going through that right now where all of a sudden you just can't stay quiet about stuff you had been quiet about, and you find yourself really brave, just facing stuff that you might not have wanted to face before because it was uncomfortable. It's like, oh, I don't want to go there, but it's like, oh, I'm ready to go there, and you're like, no. so so there's definitely this authentic self aspect that I think a lot of the people that I know have been experiencing. But everyone has been kind of comparing notes, and there have been people talking about these waves that have come in. I myself have talked about love waves and feeling like this is a continual leveling up process. But something happened, and I think it's probably since the eclipse. I think that the eclipse made everyone really have to go inside. And I think that it was really strange because I had friendships and relationships and groups that I was part of, including my own group, that all of a sudden everyone kind of went to their own corners. And for whatever reason, I never took any of it personally. I really understood and saw that there was something that people were being called to find within themselves that they couldn't find outside of themselves. And it's been a really intense period of diving deep and looking at things that are scary. Sometimes they're scary. I know a lot of people are affected by money. Um, I know I am. I put a roof over my own head, and I work for a living. I am lucky to work for myself, as you know. Um, but the world's changing. The economic situation's changing. The way business is done is changing. And as much as I feel I've listened to my inner being, I think I kicked into headspace with a lot of that. So I started, chasing the carrot on the stick, and having to venture into places that were really uncomfortable, like technology, which I've been in technology since, God, forever, it feels like. Must be some kind of starseed heritage of mine. Um, but I forayed into digital marketing, and gosh, I could just see the systems and they're not performing the way they're supposed to, and everything's breaking down. And when you have a business and you're physically dependent on that business, you have to engage, right? But you have to find a way when you're as awake and aware as I feel I am, you have to engage in a way where you are empowered rather than disempowered. So that's kind of been a journey for me as well. But it's this continual battle ever since the eclipse to go in and face these remaining fears, to look into the mirror at the remaining things that are out of balance, that you might not feel comfortable with. I know a lot of people who've been breaking huge patterns. I mean, all kinds of distorted patterns. And I feel like they're breaking them for their family lines, whether it's the people pleaser, or whether it's the martyr, or whether it's the narcissist, or whether it's just taking on complete disempowerment in relationships that suffocate you and choke you to death. People have been taking on these patterns, and most of them are really working through them and dismantling them and discovering their own power and discovering their own empowerment. We're about ready to move into a brand new space that we've not been in before. And, many of us have been seeing ships in the sky. And if you see this video and you just, this doesn't resonate with you, scroll on by. I'm really making this for the people that I'm closest to. And I don't know if I'll share it yet or not. But the people that I'm closest to, they understand, you know? I can't see any other way. I see the ships in the sky. Something's going to change. Something's going to change hugely, and it's going to make everybody question their reality. It might not be ships in the sky per se right now, but there's going to be global stuff that's going to happen that is going to rock everyone's world. And the most important thing that we have to do right now in preparation is to get in touch with our inner being and trust that inner being, trust that everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. I know there's a lot of us that have been feeling this just oddball sensation through our bodies. I know that I will feel so incredibly at peace and in unison with everything around me. And then a couple minutes later, I can go off the rails over something like traffic. I feel that there are forces that are trying to test us. It's like they know the weaknesses and they know the things that we still haven't balanced, and they're going for it. It can be different for everyone. It can be an ex. It can be a job. It could be your family members. It could be a twin flame connection, or someone that you think is a twin flame connection. It can be your animals. It could be anything, whatever you're sensitive to right now. I almost feel like we're in some kind of a testing period, because something that I heard today really impacted me. And that is, we think about ships in the sky, those that are listening to this do. If you don't resonate with that, you're not listening to me anymore. There's probably five friends of mine listening. That's okay. But we think of ships in the sky. They're just hanging there. Nobody knows. This is what I think. This is how I feel. Nobody knows what they're doing there. Nobody's made contact. It's not a contact thing. I think of the movie Signs. If you've seen the movie Signs, it's one of my favorite movies. But you really don't know why they're there. I mean, you might know why they're there, but most people there's all different groups of people. They don't know why they're there. Some people think, oh my God, it's the second coming of Christ. He was going to come in through the clouds. Where is him with his robes and his beard, right? And then some are going to be like, oh, that's Project Bluebeam. The government's been planning this for years. Those are holograms. Don't even worry about it. Um, then there are those that have been following the Galactic Federation of Light. It's Ashtar Command. They're here, right? Um, there are those that will be like, oh my God, they're here to destroy us and take over the world. The world's coming to an end. And there won't have to be a single interaction with those ships for all that to start happening. And who's going to worry about the fact that their mortgage isn't getting paid, or that their car, just got crashed into, or that they just got laid off from their job, or, their kids having some kind of, I don't know, problems with their friends, all the stuff that that eat up our time. You think anyone's going to be thinking about any of that? They're going to be like, should I go to the grocery store? I was like, dude, I don't know if I want to go to the gym. It's like, are they going to, what's going to happen? I almost think that that's the perfect scenario, because they hang there and everybody just goes, what do we do? And it gets your attention, and everybody starts changing. Everyone starts asking the big questions. Everyone starts asking people that they know, that they have some inkling of an idea, that they're like more connected with the inside story. Someone like you and me, they're going to be like, what is going on? And that is the time where we'll be like, well, there's a number of things. But I guess the most important thing is where are we going to be? Where are we going to be energetically? Are we going to be freaking out with the rest of them? Are we going to be on one of those bandwagons? Oh, it's the extraterrestrials that come to destroy the world. Or are we in the, oh, it's Ashtar Command. They're here to save us. And I've been waiting for them since what, October 2014 to be exact. I'm going to see my friend Katumi, I mean, is that what role are we going to play? And I think that this is what's coming to us right now, is what roles are we going to play? Well, something new came up in this in this day, in this conversations with people, and that is, what will it feel like to be in the presence of an extraterrestrial? What will that really feel like? I'm talking, what if it's a malevolent one? What will that feel like? It doesn't matter how brave you are. I know that if I'm a super brave person, I've stood up to people. I'm not afraid of people. I'm not afraid of stuff. But what happens if it's like a German Shepherd that's rabies and rabid and it's sitting there looking at you? Are you really not going to have a physical response to that? Of course you're going to have a physical response to that. It doesn't matter how calm, cool, and collected you are. You're going to have a response. Our bodies are going to go into overdrive. I don't know about you, but when I stand on the side of a cliff and there's a skinny little railing and I'm looking over, I'm feeling like I'm falling off of it, whether I am or not. My body goes into fight or flight. So there's been some conversations about that energy of fight or flight, the adrenaline that pumps through you. Didn't really occur to me. I thought, oh, they're just going to stay up in the sky, and I'll wave and say, yeah, all right, you don't have dominion or power over me. I'm a creator being. I know who I am. I'm a fractal. I'm a fractal of the universe itself coming through, right? And I'm going to, I got all this power. Yeah, right. You've got someone standing in your presence. They're 8 feet tall. And their whole purpose is to intimidate you and throw that energy at you so that you're intimidated. What's going to happen? Your body's going to get intimidated. What is the answer? And the answer is trusting yourself. Oh, and I keep hitting this. I hope I'm not hitting the microphone. Sorry if I am. I guess I'll find out. What's the answer? The answer has to be trusting yourself. And the being that's there, what if it's a being that has the mystical powers of being able to enchant you? Yeah, I've thought a lot about this on the twin flame journey. We've got people talking about having, and this is where, true sacred union comes in, and sacred counterparts. We've had so many over the years. I have worked with so many people who had that experience of euphoric love for a person. Really? What is that? What is that? Were you enchanted? Kind of wondering myself. That enchantment energy can be so powerful because, I mean, how do you even know? I mean, I've heard people say, oh, we'll go into your heart. Well, I had that experience. There was enchantment, right? But how do you know? And what if someone comes along and pops into your life and is like, I'm your twin flame. I'm from the stars. I've been waiting for you. I've been on the ships, right? And it's like you feel it. You feel it in your body. You feel the attraction. You feel all of that. How do you know it's not enchantment? We've got some big challenges ahead of us. And what I'm starting to understand is that it gives us an opportunity to take a pause right now and to look ourselves in the mirror. Number one, and to say, what do I still have inside of me that could be used against me? What is it that someone could push buttons on and convince me of to get me in a state that is not connected with my inner being and trust and full love and full support? This is where the work comes in. This is why it's so important that the smallest little things be addressed, because an extraterrestrial being is going to know you. They're going to scan you. They're going to know exactly what you're afraid of. They're going to know exactly what your sensitivities are, what your little ego is afraid of. And it's going to be like, oh, let's go for that. Well, how about we all do that work ahead of time, which is what we've all been doing. But I mean, don't stop now. Because if you don't find it, trust me, they will. And it will be very uncomfortable. I was thinking about, I was having a conversation with someone. I got very upset because I was coming through my gate in my apartment. And there was a van. It says funeral home on it, right? It's a white van with this logo, funeral home. It's a beat up van. It's like something out of some kind of scary movie. And I was coming up to the gate and it pulled to the left. I'd seen it before, coming and going. And I'm like, okay, why is there a funeral home van in my apartment complex? And I said, oh, that was really nice. Then they pulled over, let me go. So I pulled in, I used my card, the gate went up, and they zoomed in behind me. I was pissed. I didn't care that it was a funeral home van. I didn't care that I told my girls, stay away from white vans. I was so mad. All right. So I go to my building. I'm sitting there going, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I said, I'm going to go find that van. I'm going to go. I'm doing it. This is what I'm saying. Is since the inner being came in, there is no, it's like warrior energy. Like there is no fear. Not really. I'm sure there would be fear in other circumstances that I have not yet experienced, but no fear. So I go and I find that van and there's no one in it. And I'm going to take a picture of that license plate and I'm going to turn them in. I say this because I had a good friend who said, let's look at that energy. Really, why? Why does that bother you so much? And I didn't even know if she posed that question or if I did, but we started talking about it. And I started realizing it's that feeling of being pushed and someone sneaking in behind me and riding my coattails. Riding my coattails. Interesting. I was like, oh. And why do people ride my ass on the freaking highway? That's another thing. Right on the ceiling. Someone's pushing me. They're pushing me and they don't care that they're putting me in danger by pushing me. Okay, so these are issues that, as much work as I've done on 15 years on the twin flame journey, with all the shit that I processed, all the distorted templates I worked on, there's still stuff sitting here. And I had to look at that and go, oh, look at that. I'm getting upset because someone's riding my tail in. And all the other things. They're cheating. They don't have to pull out the card. I don't know if they're boogeymen and they're coming to kill me and take me away in their van. It's not safe. All of the things that start coming in my mind from that one thing. This is the universe talking to me to say you still have unresolved fears, worries, issues. And I'm thinking, I'm all that. I'm fine. Am I? Are you? Are we? This is the stuff we need to start looking at, because they're going to go for it. And I hate to say this because this isn't really meant to put any fear in anybody, and I'm sure it might. But in life, the stuff that you don't deal with doesn't go away. It's Groundhog Day. It goes over and over and over and over. And you have the same fears and the same feelings and the same sweating or the same being shut down or no money or whatever it is. If you're not dealing with it, it's not going to go away. And it's only going to get worse. Because right now, in order for us to take this step, this birthing process of actually moving out of this ridiculously controlled space that we find ourselves in, which we put ourselves in on purpose, which is like, why did we do this? We did it for a soul experience. We did it for a soul experience. If you're watching this, you're a starseed. Unless you're an origines in Australia, which is the indigenous to this planet, the first humans here, and then of course there's tribes of them throughout the world. If you're not one of them, you're a starseed. And you were brave enough to incarnate into a human, because then you're not just a fraction of your higher self. You are a fractal, which means you're the entire representation of your higher self here, embedded, embodied in a physical, condensed universe. This is a condensed universe. Every little speck of you is a universe. And the planet Earth, that is also a condensed being that you are living on. It contains everything in the universe. We are at the most compressed place you can be. We were brave enough to incarnate. You want to know what that means? We had to put a stupid paper bag on our heads to forget who we were and all the power that we have as a fractal of the universe. We put that bag over our heads like stupid idiots. No, I'm just kidding. That's the path to merging with this universe and birthing into our creator being selves that has all the experience of the universal light. And all of those galactic beings that want to intimidate us, that want to hold us down, they weren't brave enough to do it themselves. They are in awe of us. We have such power. Our energy ripples out. Our energy ripples out. It's become so clear to me how we really have to become super responsible for our energy. Because our ability to put our intention on something and create it is enormous. Why do you think they've wanted to limit us at every turn? They're harnessing that energy to create this dystopian nightmare that we find ourselves in the middle of, right? What's happening? So I don't know the timing of anything, but I do know that whatever time I have left before more stuff begins to happen, the one lesson I take away from all of this, I am going to trust my damn inner being. She's the only one that's got my back. She's the seat of my soul. I've met her before. I've met her, and she embodies me all the time as this amazing, strong, wise being that understands. And when I met this integrated aspect of myself, I realized that she really is the seat of my soul. When I pray, she's the one that answers. She knows exactly what I need. She knows where I need to be, when I need to be there. And that's another thing. I've been blown away by increased telepathic communications where I just know someone's calling to me to be somewhere at a certain time and I don't even think about it. I just get in my car and I go and they're there. There's been no communication. It's amazing. But this is what the inner being brings to us. And the things that we still have that we are refusing to look at, that we're refusing to deal with, that we are refusing to put up boundaries about, that we are refusing to accept responsibilities for, those things are going to be the downfall and the uncomfortableness and the buttons that are going to be able to be pressed on you in the future, in your timeline, whether it's by an extraterrestrial or it's just by circumstance. Because that's the point. We need to balance our energy. We need to balance out things that have been out of balance. If you're in a situation that you shouldn't be in, you're going to get your ass out of it because your inner being's not going to tolerate it. And if you don't listen, you're going to get a kick ass. You're really going to get your ass kicked. And I know I'm coming off kind of preachy, but what I'm trying to say is that your inner being's got you. That is the seat of your soul. That is your soul. It is the part of you that's connected to the universe. And the universe is the creator of all of this that we are embodying in right now. That, in all intents and purposes, is your co-creative nature with the universe. So your inner being is really the part of you that knows where you need to be when you need to be there. And if something isn't coming through that you really think should be coming through, thank your lucky stars. Oh, wow, this isn't happening. I guess it's not supposed to happen, because if it did happen, it's going to take me way off course. So we've got a lot of things coming. Everything that's coming is all the stepping stones we need to get us to the place where we are no longer in the great limiting arena of this universe. We're no longer limited. We're no longer suppressed, stopped, oppressed, stepped on, crunched, deprived, all the things, every single way you can be limited. We've been limited here. And as an awakening creator being, it just gets more and more challenging because there's only certain ways that they can continue to limit you. And guess what ways those are? Those ways are the things that you have yet to deal with. Because once you deal with them, you can go around them. You can go around their system of control. But until you see it, until you acknowledge it, until you turn it over, release your control, your need to control it as your small self, and let your higher guidance show you what doorway is for you. It's going to be a rough road. And don't I know about it, because I'm talking about someone who is going through it. I've been going through it, and I'm actually really looking at stopping going through it. I always learn my lessons. I always take it on board. I want to learn my lessons. I dive right in. But I still have a tendency, my shortcoming is always financial. It's always financial. It's always, being limited by finances and letting it drive me crazy. And I don't need to, because in my entire life, my inner being has always provided everything that I need at the time I need it. I am so abundant. These are the things we need to work on. Whatever you're finding you're crushing under right now, however that energy is getting to you, look it in the mirror, look at yourself and just say, okay, what is it about me? All right. All right. There's a thing about money. Okay. Somehow I feel like I'm not going to have money. Why is this? And so, and somehow it's like, oh my gosh, I got to fly right. I got to do business. I got to do business the way you do business. And I got to work with the internet and I got to do all these things and I got to jump through these hoops and I got to make this happen. And it's like, do you? Do you really? Or is that just something you need to let go of and undo? As far as counterparts, because I touched on it, that energy's coming in, man. That is coming in. I've actually had that energy coming in through someone I don't even know, and it's not even necessarily that person or anything. It's the energy of reminding me what it feels like, what that energy feels like when someone sees you and they know you and they know your totality and it's just accepted and revered. Is that the right word? Revered. Guess when that happens? That happens when we have it inside ourselves. It means we're getting close. We start getting brushes with it. The energy coming in. It doesn't necessarily, listen, there's no relationship for me in this energy. It's not a relationship. A relationship would start becoming distorted at this point. There's distortion still everywhere. But the energy is starting, I'm really starting to remember it. And it's coming in strong. And telepathic communication and learning how to navigate and be where you're going to be when you're going to be there, and realizing that it's all going to unfold and happen. It's all going to unfold and happen, and there's not anything we can do to change it. We can't insist it be this person, or we can't insist that it's not that person. It just is what it is. But before the person arrives, the energy arrives. And I'm happy to say the energy is arriving for me. So I don't know what it means, but this is true inner love reflected outward, reflected back to me in a way that's so non-specific that it cannot be anything but a reflection of my own love within me. And when you get to that place, it won't be long. It won't be long. And the beautiful thing is not being attached to it, not needing it, because you're already whole, right? I'll tell you, it would be nice to have that partner though when all this stuff starts happening, because I don't know what's gonna go on, but yeah, I'd like to know what you think about what I've just said. If there's something that you're wondering about and that I've left off, or if there's questions about what I meant about something, just let me know. Yeah, we're getting really in touch with the natural. I've been doing work with a friend of mine, Amy, who brings through and has been for about a year now, just for her own self, been bringing through the animal kingdom. Oh my gosh. The messages that have been coming in specifically for me about all of this is just mind blowing and perspective changing. And that's the natural. It's so hard to believe that we have that energy inside of us. All of the different animals, all of the different beings that inhabit this world, we are a fractal of the entire universe, which means if there's hawk circling above, you've got hawk inside of you. You have panther inside of you. You have crow inside of you. You have elephant inside of you. You have all of the elements of this planet inside of you. Then all of the elements of this galaxy and the solar system and the galaxy and the cosmos here inside of you. If there is something stopping you from knowing that aspect of yourself, just ask your inner being, say, show me what's blocking me today. Show me what I need to know. When something blocks you, stop and say, what's doing this? What is this? What is this? What is this? Consciousness. Make it your top priority. And it does sound like I'm trying to tell you what to do. Sorry about that. I wouldn't want anyone telling me what to do. You don't tell a Sag what to do. But actually, it's the information that's coming through from my inner being to you right now from my inner being. And that's what she wants to impart to you for whatever reason. So anyways, let's see what happens. Until next time.